ability. Inner is the creator, outer is the creation. Inner is the ocean, outer is the wave. Inner is the unknown, outer is the known. Inner is subconscious, outer is the conscious. Inner is multidimensional, outer is three-dimensional. Inner is the mind, outer is the body. The brain is most powerful organ human possess. Although we all have a hugely powerful potential offered by our brain, life is mysterious. Its secrets are vast and many. Do you know that in its resting state, human brain takes up to 1/5 of all the energy generated by our body. We use only 3 to 10% of its capacity consciously. The rest of 90 to 97% is used by us subconsciously.
Subconscious mind is basically a technique where the brain is trying to record the minute to minute things. Even though our normal mind, basically the mind which is conscious mind, does not understand these things. It's not working on this method. But the subconscious mind is actually recording everything and trying to put it inside. Subconscious mind will work as our experience. When we are trying to grow up, suddenly somewhere the subconscious mind will come up and tell that, see, this thing, somewhere it happened, so be careful. But we don't even understand that where it happened, what happened also we don't know, but it is actually recording that. The conscious mind is the mind which is actually recording what is happening now. There are many techniques in opening the subconscious mind, basically in martial arts. Martial arts is an excellent method to open up the subconscious mind. When you do some traditional martial arts, which is actually more difficult forms, there is a lot of coordination between your leg movements, hand movements, and brain and all these things. When you practice this kind of martial arts, the subconscious mind starts really becoming very strong. So they basically say that Zen meditation. So subconscious mind is a very good technique. The Zen meditation works really good for subconscious mind. So when you start, just sit at one place, gaze at a wall. Don't do anything, just look at the wall and keep gazing at a wall for at least 1 minute to 2 minutes. That's more than enough. So slowly increase it for 5 minutes and you'll see that your subconscious mind starts becoming really strong and your focus starts increasing really good. Psychic powers are the abilities of the brain, which is actually the brain, due to some exercises and due to the certain methods, the brain starts getting certain psychic powers. And actually these are the psychic powers. Many people think that there are some supernatural powers which a person is having, but there is nothing to think about a supernatural powers as such. The psychic powers are something which is being developed, which are there in the human body by itself, in the brain. But only the thing is, because we are not tapping that areas, and many people nowadays are trying to experiment on this and they're coming up with new ideas and they're coming up with many things which is actually amazing to know that. And literally in the World War II time, at the time of World War II, there are so many people who have done lots of research on this psychic powers. There are many people, there are many intelligence units, there are so many people who have started working on it, and they understood that you can send an electro vibrations into the other person's brain so that the other person will start listening to us, whatever we speak. So there are so many techniques which they used it. And this all comes through psychic powers. And psychic powers is an amazing knowledge which people have forgotten, and it is very difficult for a normal person to understand this.
Extrasensory perception is beyond the typical sensation as such. So, if you have to see, we have to use our eyes. We have to hear, we have to use our ears. So, like that, there are specific sensory organs through which we are able to get information from the environment. But the moment we say extrasensory, the sense is not there. The sensory organ is not present. The sensation may or may not be present. The experience is present. This is to the extent that is why it is taken in parapsychology and not in psychology. As long as the normal process of sensory organ, sensation, and especially the physical stimuli that is going to affect the sensory organ, what we call irritability, the sensory organ, and then that gets communicated to the brain, is what is studied in psychology. But if there is something absent beyond this, so this is where it comes to parapsychology. I have been doing extensive research in especially these areas where it's not merely extrasensory perception. I am trying to bridge the gap between psychology and parapsychology, where still there is not much of understanding. For instance, let us take dream. In dreams, experience is there, but sense organ is not involved. Do you consider dream as a normal phenomena or a parapsychological phenomena? Is a question that we have to ask. So, like this, there are a lot of sensations which do not come under either parapsychology or psychology, but still they are present in us. So, psychic ability is classified into two major things, just like we classify psychology as internal and external. Same way, parapsychology is also classified as internal and external. In internal, we have ESP, which is once again classified into clairvoyance, telepathy, and precognition. When it comes to action, when it comes to external overt behavior, we classify it as psychokinesis, the mental ability to move objects.
Telekinesis, the ability to move objects by mind power. Cryokinesis, the ability to manipulate water to ice. Electrokinesis, the ability to manipulate electricity. Pyrokinesis, the ability to manipulate fire. Levitation, the ability to bend the gravity laws. Telepathy, the ability to thought transfer and mind reading. Precognition, which we call sixth sense or merely result of psychic being able to use more of their brain than others. Everyone is born with natural ability of psychic powers. Only a few people know how to unleash it. Psychic powers are special abilities of consciousness. The psychic powers like telekinesis is not utilized by using any of the 5 physical senses, but rather from a type of frequency that mind produces, which depends on various mental conditions. The force that creates motion in our body are thoughts and vibrations. These are the 2 key elements of telekinesis, and there are 3 fundamentals in telekinesis, nothing but focus, energy, and force. Telekinesis cannot be utilized until all of these fundamentals are developed up to a psychic level.
In my work with the telekinesis or psychokinesis, when I teach people, or when I do it myself, or when I teach people to move the object, the key instruction is to relax. Because when the ego gets involved or the ordinary consciousness is trying too hard, it stops. The effect gets very weak, or it just stops entirely. And I think at that point, when they relax, they're connecting with their superconscious mind or connecting with their subconscious mind, then the object starts moving more. Connecting to those other levels of consciousness is like the gateway to learning how to use those abilities.
Everything in the universe seems to be just vibration. Every atom and every part of an atom of every particle. Even our thoughts and consciousness are just vibrations. Everything around us vibrates with some specific frequency, which it turns to produce light.
Energy is the main thing behind all. The 7 chakras of our body, which represent 7 vibgyor colors. So there is a interlink between these visual colors and our 7 chakras. So when 7 chakras in our body, that we call it as 7 energy centers, when it oscillates, it develops a energy that is called electromagnetic energy, which we call it as aura. We can see a oval shape around human body in different colors, that is visual colors.
Human body produces many different frequencies from various parts of the body. Among them of the most important from our own thoughts. The aura around living things or conscious, such as plants, humans, and even microorganisms.
When we are walking on a street and there is a tree and the branch is, even though it is very high at height, but when we pass through that branch, we slowly start bending our head and go forward. Even though it is high, but we feel that our aura is touching that branch. The energy around our body, what we call aura, contains invisible photons. But when we take aura photography, it amplifies the photons to the 100 times.
The Tibetan concept of lesya, which relate colors to mental and emotional states. In India, there is an ancient science called Chaya Shastra, in which aura scanning is used for diagnostics and aura correction is used for healing. In the modern era, Russian scientists have been studying auras through Kirlian photography for over 50 years.
With the help of the Kirlian photograph, the visible photons, that is the energy field, is recorded here in visual colors, 7 colors format. So according to the 7 colors, as per the colors whatever it records, we can diagnose his chakras energies, his health status, character, and even attitude also.
Professor Kotsko book Light After Life, which contains results of an extensive research of human aura after death. One of the important discoveries by Professor Kotsko is the aura continues to change for almost exactly 72 hours after the death of physical body, which indicates conscious activity of mind during that time.
मित्रों, इन दिनों पश्चिम ने खोज की है। वो खोज ये है कि आज सॉफ्टवेयर के माध्यम से, एक प्रोग्राम के माध्यम से, अगर सुबह ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में आपके शरीर पर वो सारे साधन लगा करके वो जांच सकते हैं कि आपके ये जो चक्र हैं वो संतुलित अवस्था में है कि नहीं है। मित्रों, इस योग की हमारे पूर्वजों ने हमें जो विज्ञान दिया है वो दिन दूर नहीं है कि पूरा मेडिकल साइंस करवट बदल देगा। हम देखते हैं कि पुराने जमाने में जब हम भी, हमारे यहाँ कोई संत महात्मा की फोटो हुआ करती थी, कोई भगवान की फोटो हुआ करती थी, तो उसके माथे के आसपास एक बहुत बड़ा तेजो वलय उसका पेंटिंग हुआ करता था। कोई ऐसा महापुरुष नहीं होगा, संत पुरुष नहीं होगा जिसके चित्र में पीछे तेजो वलय का प्रिंटिंग किया ना होगा। कभी कभी लोग मानते थे ये तो एक शोबाजी है, ये शायद एक आर्ट वर्क है। मित्रों, विज्ञान ने स्वीकार किया है कि शरीर के चारों तरफ, हर अंग के चारों तरफ एक ऑरा होता है। एक साइंटिस्ट ने एक कैमरा की खोज की है, उसको किलियन फोटोग्राफी कहते हैं।
I think there is an indirect relationship because, and this is my understanding, I'm not a person, I don't see auras visually. I'm more of a feeling person, so I can feel. But some people, they actually see colors. And I think that comes down to people's minds will interpret the aura different ways. Generally, people's auras will be more constricted and tight when they're more stressed out or when they're more in the ordinary consciousness. That when someone is in a more spiritual state or more relaxed or more in their subconscious, the aura expands and becomes more powerful. And so I think the aura can reflect when someone is in more of a psychic state because they are more relaxed, they are more in tune with their deeper nature. So in an indirect way, the aura can reflect if someone is able to access their own psychic abilities more.
In energetic realm, each chakra is associated with certain set of emotions, psychic tendencies, and non-sensory forms of perception. The term chakra originated from northern part of India during 12th century. According to ancient Hindu mythology, chakras are energy centers located on the surface of auric body. Chakras are the whirlpools in auric body that act as transmitters and receivers of energy from universe. Chakras are the link between physical body and its spiritual counterpart. The chakras keep spinning about their center like hurricane of energy. Each chakra has its own unique frequency of rotation. Each chakra functions independently with the correct frequency at all the times. In order to convert emotions of mind into energy, some kind of machine needs. That process is achieved by chakras. When your body is in need of strength, the universal energy which continuously flows to the spiritual body and the aura. Aura can be considered as a mirror that reveals our present mental, physical, spiritual state. The certain forms of Tai Chi, yoga and meditation improves aura chakra balance.
और मैं गया था योगा की ट्रेनिंग के लिए एक स्थान पे 40 दिन मुझे वहां रहना था। मैं बहुत बड़े पुराने समय की बातें कर रहा हूं आपके साथ। और उन्होंने मुझे कहा कि 40 दिन में आपका योगा का जो कुछ भी होगा उसके पूर्व हम आपके ऑरा की फोटोग्राफी करना चाहते हैं। मैंने कहा मुझे खुशी होगी। मैं थोड़ा बहुत किताबों से इन विषयों को मैंने पढ़ा था, जाना था। तो उन्होंने उस वॉशिंग मशीन जैसे इतने बड़े कैमरा पर मेरा अंगूठा रखा और उस पर मुश्किल से 5-7 सेंटीमीटर का ऑरा था। उसकी फोटो निकाली, उस फोटो को रखा। 40 दिन के बाद जब मेरा वो पूरा ट्रेनिंग पूरा हुआ तो फिर वो मुझे कहा गया कि आपको जाने से पहले फिर से एक बार आपका ऑरा का फोटो निकालेंगे। और मित्रों, मैं अपने अनुभव से बताता हूं कि इस मेरी 40 दिन की ट्रेनिंग के पहले जब मैंने ऑरा निकाला तो मुश्किल से 5-7 सेंटीमीटर का ऑरा था और 40 दिन के बाद जब उसी अंगूठे का ऑरा निकाला तो पूरे उस कैमरा के बाहर ऑरा चला गया।
You can do some breathing, some hard, long-lasting breathing exercises, and you will do telekinesis. Or you could sit very still in meditation, and the result will be telekinesis. It's not the level of your energy. It's the state of your mind, the state of your psyche, like very special state. I feel the central flow that is activating. I feel that my consciousness is going like a bit deep inside myself. So I feel some special changed state. And I feel some kind of connection with this object. It is in the glass bulb, if you see, in the vase. But I feel this connection. I don't use any hands or what, but I feel like I touch this object somehow.
Conscious mind, subconscious mind, aura and chakras in human body are interlinked to each other. While we did telekinesis, it shows change in relevance impact on each one. To prove this, Sean McNamara takes a step to link all these concepts. Sean McNamara teaches psychic powers like telekinesis. He takes his aura photography before and after doing telekinesis. Then we can see the different changes in aura size and color of Sean McNamara. As we discussed earlier, this change in process is not limited to aura, it continues to aura chakra balance also.
And that was only just several minutes that the change happened. So I went to a place where they do aura photography, and so first I had them take my image without telekinesis. Then I started doing telekinesis, and then they take it, and you could see the change. And it was only 2 or 3 minutes difference, and the aura was different. I think that's because of all the training I did, that my aura can change very quickly because I know how to relax very quickly to produce the effect. So I wasn't trying to change my aura on purpose. It was just naturally changing to reflect that I was changing my state of mind to do the telekinesis.
There are two major chakras play crucial role in order to improve psychic powers, which are Bro chakra and Crown chakra. Bro chakra or third eye chakra. The sixth chakra is commonly referred as Bro chakra. Bro chakra is located on forehead between the eyebrows, which yogis refer to as a third eye point. This is the location of higher perception and psychic abilities. Our mental calculations and thinking process are functions of third eye chakra. We are able to evaluate our past experiences and life patterns and put them into perspective through the wisdom of third chakra actions. It is through a receptive Bro chakra that auric hues and other visual images are intuited clairvoyantly. The location of the crown chakra is located just underneath top of the skull. This is the location of spirituality and the pathway of higher intelligence, which causes positive or negative chi energy production. It is generally considered to be the highest spiritual center and the state of pure consciousness. The emission of spiritual colors of chakras turns into auric colors. Each auric color is related to one related chakra.
But I do believe that the energy in the body, including the chakras, does have an effect or a relationship with the psychic ability. And one example is when I experiment with doing telekinesis, I notice, for example, sometimes when I focus on the heart chakra or just below, when it gets warm or it starts to open, suddenly the object starts moving a lot more. I can feel something here changing, and then the object starts to respond. I think the general thing that I notice is as long as I'm relaxed enough, that means I can feel my energy in my body, and that's a good sign that my abilities are opening up.
In 2008, the Institute of Biosensory Psychology under the authorship of Vladimir Tankov established the world record, the largest community of people trained telekinesis skills within shortest possible time. It is registered in the Russian Book of Records and Achievements.
You shouldn't try to understand the process. You shouldn't try to, like realize what's going on without any brain, without any logical processes. It's very soft, it's very natural, it's very good feeling, in fact. It's not about tension.
In our area of studies, even children do it. Even children. Absolutely like game, like it is like a lot of fun. So it's different from her approach. Some people use eyesight to move the object. They look at some point and move with their eyesight. Some people use, heart center and like make a stream and move the object. Some people use, Kundalini chakra. Some people breathe a lot and just satiate and higher the level of energy and use.
Yes.
Some people just relax and they have.
You can see it.
It depends.
You can see it on our site and some kind of videos when the person moving elbow, like fingers, tip of the nose, chest, doing something, and the object is moving.
Sometimes it looks really funny.
Yes.
But it works.
Sean McNamara teaches psychic powers like telekinesis, lucid dreaming, out-of-body experiences, and also provides online courses.
You're about to watch me move a can with telekinesis. Here's the can. And when I do this experiment, I have the mask over my face because there's no glass cover in this one. The way I've been working with this, and I'm still really new at it, I'm just moving up from moving tinfoil, is I have this can balanced on a needle that's taped to the end of a pencil. So you can see where I cut out the hole here. So the can is balanced to move with telekinesis. So let's see how I do. This is just the beginning.
He also tried to prove telekinesis in a scientific way.
There's scientific evidence, and I'm using the word evidence instead of proof because they mean very different things. So I don't think anything has ever been proven. You know, a scientist is very specific about those terms, but there definitely is evidence that they found in the laboratory. So, for example, if you've heard of a man named Dean Radin from the Institute of Noetic Sciences, and other scientists from the Institute of Noetic Science have done a lot of research on the mind's ability to experience things that are going to happen in the future, and also to influence small particles like photons and electrons, to influence them through psychokinesis. So they're able to measure those effects with computers and lasers and electronics and things like that. And they're able to measure the fact that our mind does change physical reality, or it can see changes in physical reality in the future, or it can predict when we're going to see an image in the future, and our body and our subconscious mind already starts responding ahead of time.
Telekinetic melody, audio tapes, and psychic tablets are external sources to improve psychic powers. Psychic tablets are also known as nootropics. These psychic pills will help you to have a sharp focus in your psychic training, and it improves your meditation level by achieving a deeper level of concentration. These pills can increase your short-term and long-term memory as well. It also gives a boost to your energy levels, improves concentration, gives a push to your brain performance. It brings back your focus and leads to clear mental vision, and nootropics force to the nervous system to stay active. These nootropics contains nutrients like alpha-GPC, Hupergen A, L-theanine, Bacopa monnieri, and vinpocetine. Indian Ayurvedic Medhya Rasayanas are a group of medical plants which described in Ayurveda with multifold benefits. Medhya means intellect and Rasayana means therapeutic procedure. Medhya Rasayana works on retard brain aging and nerve immunity, which boosts to open subconscious mind.
Certain plants and chemicals that will influence your brain in certain ways. And they know that some of those substances they can actually turn off certain parts of the brain functioning. And then the deeper functioning of the mind needs to come to the surface. And so absolutely, if there's nootropic qualities from the plants or the chemicals in the pill, then that can actually help open the doors of perception. The part to be careful about is there's a special balance, because if you do too much, then suddenly you're only having hallucinations instead of psychic perception. So there's a difference, because psychic perception will reflect what's really happening at some other location. For example, with remote viewing or clairvoyance, to see what's happening somewhere else. If the mind opens a certain way, maybe using these nootropics, then it'll help receive the information better.
Brain waves. Every part of your body vibrates to its own rhythm. Your brain is made up of billions of brain cells, which we call neurons. Neurons use electricity to communicate with each other. The combination of millions of neurons sending signals at once produces an enormous amount of electrical activity in the brain. The combination of electrical activity of the brain is commonly called as a brain wave pattern. Because of its cyclic wave-like nature, our brain has a unique set of brain waves. In neuroscience, there are 5 distinct brain wave frequencies, which are alpha, beta, theta, delta, and gamma. Learning mind control at deeper states of consciousness opens you up to the world of your subconscious mind, where you can create your reality at will. Each frequency measured in cycles per second has its own set of characteristics representing a specific level of brain activity. Brain waves can be detected using sensitive medical equipment such as an EEG, measuring electricity levels over areas of the scalp. They provide an indication of the mental state of an individual. Beta frequency ranges from 12 Hz to 30 Hz. Beta brain waves are associated with normal waking consciousness and a heightened state of alertness. As you go about your daily activities, you are at beta. Higher beta levels translate into stress, anxiety, and restlessness. The voice of beta is little nagging chatterbox of your inner critic. Alpha frequency ranges from 8 Hz to 12 Hz. Alpha brain waves are present in deep relaxation with the eyes usually closed and while daydreaming. The relaxed, detached awareness achieved during light meditation is characteristic of alpha. It lies at the base of your conscious awareness and is the gateway to your subconscious mind. The voice of alpha is your intuition, which becomes clearer and more profound the closer you get to 8 Hz. Theta frequency ranges from 4 Hz to 8 Hz. Theta brain waves are present during deep meditation and light sleep. Theta is the realm of your subconscious mind. It is also known as twilight state, as it is momentarily experienced as you drift off to sleep from alpha and arise from deep sleep from delta. A sense of deep spiritual connection with the universe can be experienced at theta. Vivid visualizations, profound creativity, exceptional insight, as well as your mind's most deep-seated program, all are at theta. The voice of theta is silence. Delta frequency ranges from 0.5 Hz to 4 Hz. The delta frequency is slowest and is present in deep, dreamless sleep and in very deep transcendental mediation where awareness is completely detached. Delta is the realm of your unconscious mind. It is the gateway to the universal mind and all collective unconscious. Delta is associated with deep healing and regeneration. While doing psychic powers, we can see enormous change in our brain waves. Telekinesis trainer Sean McNamara shows that how our brain wave pattern changes from their mean positions while doing psychic powers like telekinesis.
You see me looking up at the ceiling now, and that's because I just want to clear my head. I don't want to focus on the object yet. And I want to see what the signals do while I'm looking up or looking away from the object. But soon enough, I'll turn my attention to the object and we'll see what happens. There are 5 colors here, and each one reflects a distinct wavelength. The red is for a delta, which is normally associated with deep sleep. Then the purple one is theta, which is involved with meditation, healing work, things like that. Alpha is a light daydreamy state or light meditation. Beta is correlated with the waking state, logical thinking. And gamma, I don't know too much about. They don't talk about it very much. So I don't know what happened here. The signal seemed to drop down into the negative, and now it's coming back up again, and the object is starting to move, which is interesting. That the waves come up and the object is moving.
The brain is always producing all the brain waves, but in different concentrations. Delta is when you are full asleep, not even dreaming, completely unconscious, sleeping, and that's when your body is healing during the night, where everything in the brain is very stimulated. So when people feel extreme joy or loving kindness meditation, when it's very concentrated, that's gamma. Some people think gamma has to do with telekinesis, but what I've found so far, when I put on my EEG headset, alpha and theta waves concentrate a little bit more, like in tune. Interestingly, delta spikes more. Delta is with deep sleep, but why is delta spiking when I do telekinesis? But overall, the brainwaves do reflect a level of tension and relaxation. And so when I'm more tense or more stressed, the telekinesis doesn't work. So when the brainwaves reflect more relaxation, we see that the telekinesis starts to happen.
Each and every sound in the universe shows some impact on our brain. There are some specific frequency tones which shows unique impact to our brain and also helps to improve psychic powers. Isochronic tones are one of the many tools from brainwave entrainment. Brainwave entrainment is nothing but the use of sound waves to alter our brain waves with a specific wavelength, which can navigate our brain waves to psychic frequencies. Using specific isochronic tones, we can tune our brain waves, which leads to get psychic level. The current thinking on this subject is that moving the brain waves to a specific wavelength and holding it there for a specific amount of time will cause the effects normally associated with that specific brain wave. Isochronic tones work by emitting sound at regular intervals. The intensity of sound goes almost directly from 0 to 100 and back again in the evenly spaced manner. Widely regarded as most effective tone-based method, isochronic beats produce very strong cortical responses in the brain. The fact that it works, it is odd that this kind of technology was already discovered nearly 200 years ago in Vedas. There are specific brain waves like theta which have been associated with psychic powers. 4 Hz brain wave is associated with sleep. So a 4 Hz sound pattern would help reproduce sleep state in your brain.
Frequency, it'll directly affect a person's level of consciousness, and then they can explore their psychic ability or meditation or relaxation. It's good to find a trustworthy source. So like the Monroe Institute is a very trustworthy source. They've done a lot of scientific study with the hemisync sounds. I'm sure there are many, many other people also able to produce the similar effect with isochronic sounds or with the binaural beats.
There are many isochronic softwares available in the market. Binaural beat recordings are specifically generated sounds designed to alter our brain waves and consciousness.
You know that the sounds will work on your brain, and the brain can get the subconscious mind powers and all those things. Yeah, if you see it, nowadays they have given some scientific names and all, but in the reality, it was already been developed in India very well. So Indians basically mantra what they do it. People started taking it in a misleading way that it is a religious thing and all, but actually these are the medical terms, which the medical methods of controlling the brain power. So if anybody is having lots of psychological problems, in the olden days they used to give one mantra and say that chant it for so many days. Like nowadays you can see that they'll give some medicine and they'll say take it for so many days. In the same way they used to give it that mantra and say chant it for so many days, like 40 times, 108 times per day, and definitely you'll get results. And that is actually working out on the mind. So the mantra is nothing but the bijakshas. Bijakshas are those words which are having that different types of vibrations. So what happens is when the two bijakshas interlink together, there is a specific sound which has been produced. And that sound is one of the most powerful sounds which actually directly activates your brain and your subconscious mind. And through that, many problems were being solved at that time.
Similarly, in ancient Indian Hindu religion, there is an isochronic tone generator, which was called as Ghanta in Hindi, and in Western countries it is known as bell. The Ghanta can produce high-pitched sound when it rung. The sound of bell works to disengage mind from ongoing thoughts, thus making the mind more receptive. From Kundalini Yoga perspective, the sound of bell energizes chakra and balances the distribution energy in the body. In Silpa Shastras, it is mentioned that bell sound is made of Panchadhatu, 5 metals, copper, silver, gold, zinc, and iron. These 5 metals represent the Panchabhuta. Then only the Ganta high-pitched sound energizes chakra, and it is also acts as natural isochronic generators, which leads to theta frequency to attain psychic abilities. There are bells specifically made to produce the long strains of the sound Om. Pranava, the sound of creative Om vibration, which referred as a mother of all sounds. Om is the most sacred sound in our universe. The syllable Om is also referred as Omkara. The goal of chanting Om is to realize Shakti and energizes of chakra. While reaching this goal, we can enjoy excellent health and many other benefits by simply chanting Om. According to Hindu mythology, the sacred sound of Om encompasses all 3 phases of energy. In the great book, the apostolic verse 1.27 of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra links Om to yoga practice. Tasya Vachaka Pranavaha. Tasya means his, Vachaka means designation, Pranavaha means Om. It means his designator is Om. Patanjali is giving us a method to reach the divine consciousness. So if your vibration can change your consciousness by initiating a particular vibration, then the consciousness can be changed. History evidence of psychic powers which related to ancient Indian mythology.
There are many cases where we have also come up with some of the cases where the people will be with very low aura, and these people, we basically call them as energy vampires. Aura transforms. If it is high, it goes low, just like water. The aura also just flows. So when a person is really in a low aura and he's very much low, and he's having some problems, and when these people come down and talk to us, many times, many people also face this kind of problems where they'll tell us that after we spoke, we are really tired, we are not able to understand what is happening with us and all. That is called energy vampires. And when there is an energy vampire around you, and if you feel that he is very low with aura, there are specific breathing exercises which you have to do it to control that aura. In the olden days, actually, in Indian philosophy, there is a Rudraksh. Rudraksh was developed for this reason only. Rudraksh was being worn by many medical doctors, many yogis, many sadhus and all this one. Why they used to wear it? Just to safeguard their aura. So when they are actually wearing that, because they always are solving problems to those people who are in the weak aura and who are in some problems. So when they go to them, they know that their energy immediately being sucked away by them. So to keep their energy safe, they basically wear Rudraksh. In the same way, the mythological world also in India, like Ramayana, in that one also if you see, the Vali was actually an energy vampire. Even though he's got a high energies, but he got a tactics to how to suck the other person's energy. That's the reason he was able to defeat everyone. But Vali never used to mess up with Hanumanji. They say that Hanuman and Vali, they never fought in Ramayana. Why? Because Hanuman actually, he knows the tactics, how to deal with that energy vampires. And he knows the breathing techniques and all these things. That's the reason Vali never fought with Hanuman. In this way, there's a lot of games which happens with aura. If aura goes low, aura always will not be the same. It will go low, it will come up. In temples, whatever we go and all these things, actually what we are doing is, we are actually regaining that aura. We are regaining our energies back so that a positive energy is there with us and we are going back. So that's the reason they'll say that after you are feeling dull or anything, go to a temple and come back so you'll feel more energetic. That's the actual technique why they go to the temples.
Yoga Sutra of says Patanjali in book 3 called Vibhuti Pada, in which Patanjali details the psychic powers and the methodology for their attainment. Psychic powers are known as Siddhis.
Parapsychology has to still do a lot of research to find out whether all these are actual truth or just concoctions. But if they were concoctions, they could have concocted even more better, different kind of things also. But most of these have some kind of a basis, some kind of a technical name and some kind of a Sanskrit name which specifically mentions that this is the ability that people have.
Samyama is to be viewed as a coarse and external component. For example, if one focuses on another person in Samayama, one becomes other person. The Siddhi that arises is what we call telepathy. Approximately 25 siddhis are listed in the third book of Yoga Sutras. An exact number is difficult to pin down because the abilities may be interpreted in different ways and there is some overlap also. But it is possible to view all these siddhis as variations on three basic classes. Exceptional, which is related to mind-body control. Clairvoyance, which includes precognition and telepathy. Psychokinesis, which is related to mind-matter interaction. Out of 25 siddhis, 6 siddhis fall into exceptional, 15 fall into clairvoyance, and 4 fall into psychokinesis. Siddhi 3.17 Knowledge of the meaning of sounds produced by all beings. Siddhi 3.18 Knowledge of previous births and arising of future births. Siddhi 3.21 Disappearance of body from view. Siddhi 3.22 Foreknowledge of birth, harm or death. Siddhi 3.23 Loving kindness in all. Siddhi 3.24 Extraordinary strength. Siddhi 3.25 Knowledge at a distance. Siddhi 3.26 Knowledge of outer universe. Siddhi 3.27 to 28 Knowledge of the inner universe. Siddhi 3.29 Knowledge of the composition and coordination of energies. Siddhi 3.30 Liberation from hunger and thirst. Siddhi 3.31 Exceptional stability, balance or health. Siddhi 3.32 to 36 Vision of higher beings, knowledge of everything that is knowable, knowing of the origins of all things, knowledge of the true self. Siddhi 3.37 Siddhis may appear to be supernormal, but they are normal. This is not a description of the siddhi, but rather a caution to avoid regarding or attaining the siddhis as unnatural or supernormal, as that could become a distraction of sustaining and deepening samadhi. Siddhi 3.38 Influencing others. Siddhi 3.39 Levitation. Siddhi 3.40 Blazing radiance. Siddhi 3.41 and 42 Clairaudience.
These internal martial arts, what they do is, the first thing is they start building up your internal energies. That is, internal energies is chi.
The practice of Qigong have a great effect for those trying to use sea balls or telekinesis, as well as for a good health and mental state of being.
To build up an internal energy, the most important thing is control of the mind. And they first work on how to control the mind through different types of movements and different types of exercises. They start controlling that mind. And once the mind starts getting under control, then the chi starts flowing in the body. Once the coordination between the body, mind and soul is correctly set, then they start slowly coming into the external part and they start creating an energy. This energy can be used as a psychic energies. That a Tai Chi person can just touch your body and he can actually activate your heart. He can attack your heart and he can actually create a problem with the hearts. It's because the way they project that energies and the way they push that energy into this. But there are certain records which tells that actually the Qigong has come from yoga. Many people nowadays, what yoga we are doing it is just an physical exercises. But there are certain exercises in yoga which are being done that called Sukshma Yoga. Qigong and all, if you see, they will be very closely related to this Sukshma Vyayam and Sukshma Yoga. This technique went from here to China through Bodhidharma. Bodhidharma was a person who took it. Bodhidharma went to China. He saw that the monks in there are a little bit weak. They are not able to have so much of strength and stamina to meditate. They are not able to do their daily works. They have lots of problems. Then Bodhidharma taught them 18 techniques of exercises, which now you can see that is what became Qigong, and then later on it became Shaolin Kung Fu, and so many Kung Fus has come up.
The manipulation of psychic energy formed in a ball or any shape at that matter. Its uses can range from healing, telepathy, or even telekinesis. Many claim they have been able to throw it at objects, causing them to move. Masters of Qigong are able to manipulate the Qi inside of them. The ability allows them to cool or heat up anything they desire, such as water. They can also make their bodies lighter or heavier. And they can heal physical bodies using electrical or thermal currents given by their Qi. The best display of such feats we have seen so far by Master John Chong, who, expert with electricity, dedicated himself as a healer by using their mental abilities. He says his power derived from daily meditation of ancient secrets accompanied by art of Qigong.
There are different types of martial arts which works only on this kinesis, psychic kinesis, and internal energies, hydrokinesis, and all those things. There is one good example about it in iron palm tactics in Tibetan martial arts and all these things. There's a different method of using the palm that's called iron palm tactics, they used to call it as. But in iron palm, there is different types. One is a burning palm. In the same way, there are certain strikes, like when we used to practice it, they used to demonstrate certain strikes where they used to put some water, put it above the water, they will not even touch the water, might be in this side, and when you start moving the hand, water starts moving inside.
History of psychic research in America. The Stargate Project. Stargate Project was a code name for secret US Army unit established in 1978 by Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, and SRI International to investigate the potential of psychic phenomenon in military and domestic intelligence applications, and published by CIA. The project and sister projects went by various code names: Gondola Wish, Grill Flame, Center Lane, Sunstreak. The Stargate Project created a set of protocols designed to make the research of clairvoyance, out-of-body experiences, and remote viewing.
So there's a lot of evidence that has been collected over the years. And the problem is there are a lot of skeptics or pseudo-skeptics. They say there's no evidence. And there's a lot of evidence that people they ignore it. They pretend that nobody has ever written a report, that no one has ever done the study. There's many, 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 many reports and meta-studies, statistical evidence. So there's a lot of evidence showing that something does happen with the consciousness.
In this illusionary world, all objects are moved via energy. There are many forms of energy, but the ones that come into mind are chemical, electrical, magnetic, thermal, many hidden energies. They can be converted into one form to another. Like electrical energy moves things when chemical energy that heats up the things. As we know, energy creates movement, as the same thing as done behind the psychic powers. Some hidden energy is playing key role, but there is no solid evidence that the psychic ability does exist. However, there is no true evidence that totally disapproving psychic ability. Many scientists and paranormal investigators have conducted tests, but most have come out inconclusive. The mainstream and origin of psychic powers are come from ancient India. There are many countries like Germany, Russia, China, and America to take a step to research on Indian yogis, sadhus, because they have hidden psychic powers. There is a basic problem encountered by those who trying to use scientific method to prove psychic powers. Whenever one begins to investigate new phenomenon, he needs to start from some aspect of phenomenon which is linked to present theory. In case of psychic powers, there are no such type of theories or link. Telekinesis is an interesting ability. However, it lives in the world of fiction until someone can prove that it does truly exist. There are different way of approaches to get psychic powers, which are originated from ancient India. Techniques like meditation, yoga, and Qigong, which is one of the ancient Chinese technique which is originated and adopted from yoga, and Ayurvedic nootropic medicines. There are many more ways that all are originated from ancient India. Many countries are adopted these techniques from India, which is proven in the history. The concept of psychic power was raised in 18th century by Western countries, but it is already well established in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, Indian Vedas. Those are written about 2000 years ago. In that, we can get the information what are the siddhis and how to get the siddhis, which are nothing but psychic power. The precious Indian treasure is ancient Vedas, but nowadays Indians are neglecting them, but some countries are very much interested to get the knowledge of these Vedas.
Yes, it does exist.
Yes, it exists. It is there. And it has been proven, and we have lots of records on it, and there are so many proofs also which are there around us, and lots of research is now also going on this. So it is there.
Of course, it is really exists, like a natural abilities of every human without exceptions.
In my experience, in the past, I came across psychic powers.
Yes, they definitely exist. You know, some people refer to psychic powers as superpowers or something that spiritually evolved people can do, but personal opinion, and I think also the scientific data shows that it's a natural ability.
The psychic phenomena which is explained in this documentary is just a segment of Indian Vedas power. Actually, we didn't try to convey new thing. We tried to memorize the forgotten and neglected knowledge of powerful Indian Veda through this documentary.